We're on.
Oh, it's me.
Good morning, you guys. Got a little treat and to look at Ashlyn instead of my ugly mug this morning, which is a better way to start a video. Excited to have all of you back after the holiday weekend for another deep dive. And we're going to talk about one that I really love today, which is 5 signs that will tell you that your protein is garbage and you ought to not be wasting your money on it. The reason this is important is every single nutritional line has got a protein product, a meal replacement product, kind of at the heart of their line that they generally promote as kind of the premier central product within their line, and so many of them are such complete junk. And the thing about buying a junky protein product is, for one, it's just plain not going to help you reach the goals that you want to reach. For two, there are actually some ingredients in there that can do some more harm to your health than good for your health, and we definitely want you to avoid that. We want you to be working towards better, improved health all the time. And lastly, if you're buying junky protein, no matter how good a deal you're getting on it, it's a complete waste of money, and I don't want you to waste your money. We don't want you to waste your money, we don't want you to waste your time, we don't want you to waste your health. We want you to be able to focus specifically on good quality, effective, potent products in every category, but especially in a central protein product right from the get-go. So we're going to chat about these few things that you can watch for today, and it'll make it really, really easy. If you can do just some basic rudimentary label reading and look at the ingredients panel, you can tell in just a couple minutes if you're dealing with a good quality product or something that you really should just set back on the shelf and move on. You also might be surprised if you take a look at the products that are sitting in your pantry, on your shelf at home already, that some of those probably are not worth continuing to use, or at the very least ever rebuying again, and give you the options to move to something higher quality. So Ash, you can be able to see this. So we have 5 signs your protein is garbage. We're going to go through them one by one. Number 1, the first thing that you want to watch out for in your protein is soy. In fact, you know what? Let's run through these 5 and then I'll explain a little bit more. But we've got soy. Denatured whey is another complete no-no. Any caseinates, with one exception, and I'll tell you what that exception is, but otherwise any caseinates in your product is something you don't want. Added sugars you do not want. And chemical sweeteners like sucralose, ACE-K, aspartame are the 5 signs that you're probably dealing with a garbage product. But we'll go through one by one and talk about why. So first of all, soy. Soy protein luckily is not being used as much now as it was in the past, but once upon a time they were putting soy protein in basically every low quality protein shake that was out there on the market. There are low quality shakes now that don't include soy because so many people are becoming aware of all the problems that there are with soy. I'm going to show you one that's one of the primary sold proteins in the United States you probably have at home in a minute here that is full of soy. So I'll actually go in and show you the ingredient label on that one in just a few minutes, and show you that even though most people know enough not to use soy now, there are still some out there selling tons of protein that might even be in your kitchen at home that you absolutely should not be using because of the amount of soy in it. But the reason that we're so concerned about soy as a protein is soy, for one, is the most commonly genetically modified protein on the market. We talked a couple weeks ago with glyphosate and the danger of GMOs because of the amount of Monsanto glyphosate that is found in them. Soy is the number 1 product for GMOs. More than 95% of all soy actually is genetically modified, and that genetically modified soy is parasitic in that it actually cross-contaminates fields of even non-GMO soy. So it's becoming nearly impossible to get soy that does not have some genetically modified DNA in it. We've kind of ruined the entire crop. But on top of the fact of this huge exposure to GMO and huge exposure to potential glyphosate poisoning, from using this soy protein. Even the best quality soy is not something that we want people using because it is so highly phytoestrogenic, meaning that it actually has compounds, plant compounds in it that will act like estrogen in your body. And that's dangerous for both men and for women to be intaking, really any measurable amount of soy. For one, women, we're seeing so many changes in the health of women because of too much soy in their diet. Everything from increased likelihood of onset of some cancers. The rates of young breast cancer are going crazy in the last 15 to 20 years, in large part because of so much more estrogen in our diets, because of soy being in so many products, because of hormonal treatments happening with so much of our other food, our meats, our milk, all that stuff. But soy is a main culprit in that. And soy is also really, really bad for men. I don't ever recommend that men use any soy. I mean, even if we're talking edamame, it's not great for men because estrogen is, of course, the hormone that makes women women. It also makes men essentially less manly. Estrogen offsets testosterone. It's antagonistic to testosterone. So as you raise the levels of estrogen in a man's body, it drops the actual potency and efficacy of testosterone in a man's body. So some bad things can happen. When men have less than desirable testosterone levels, their muscle mass wastes away, their body stores more fat, but beyond that, and really more concerning, is that men experience more depression. Men experience far more lack of drive and lack of just general happiness with life when their testosterone levels are not right. So taking in estrogen is actively depleting the hormonal balance, the proper testosterone hormonal balance that is needed for men to be able to have a healthy, well-balanced life. So it's definitely something we want to avoid. In addition to that, there are certain areas in the world where soy is common in the diet, where they're having problems with men's fertility and being able to reproduce and father children because their estrogen levels are coming up so high, in large part because of the soy phytoestrogens in their diet. So soy is something we never want to see. If there's so many negatives to soy, like why do people use it in a product? It's not a great protein anyways. There's not a great amino acid balance in soy. So why would someone put it in when it's not a great protein and it's got all these potential downsides? And there's only one answer to that, and it is that soy is massively, massively inexpensive. It is the cheapest protein you can put into a product. We all have, I'm sure, seen the documentaries how soy is essentially a government subsidized crop. Here in the United States, it can be bought for less than the cost that needs to be put into growing soy. So you can buy it for next to nothing. So people use it in their products because it allows them to make their products really cheap. So if you take a look at a protein product and you see soy proteins being used, you know that the decision made there was not a decision of a healthier product. It was a decision of a cheaper product to make. And unfortunately, this product I'm going to show you in a minute that is full of soy protein is one of the more expensive proteins that you can buy, but they are just selling you cheap, crappy garbage if you're wasting money on this one. I don't want any of you to fall into that trap. Second, let's talk about denatured whey. We see tons and tons of whey products on the market because whey at its base is a protein that can be very valuable. But there's one caveat in that no one ever talks about. And in order for whey to be properly digestible, in order for whey to break down and give you all the amino acids that you need, in order for your body to even use the amount of whey that is found in your shake, it needs to be non-denatured whey. And so many of the cheap whey proteins, we hear people come up all the time and like, well, I can buy, a gigantic bag of this stuff at Costco for not much money at all. Oftentimes those are proteins that have been extracted in a way that denatures the proteins. And what denaturing means is that it actually changes the chemical structure of that whey protein so that your body does not digest it very well. The protein actually changes in its structure and is very, very hard to break down. When heat is used to extract whey, when chemical extraction is used to extract whey, it denatures, your body can't break it down. So if you have had a whey product that makes your stomach not feel good, chances are highly likely that you're dealing with a denatured whey protein. Again, why would people do this? Why would people damage the whey protein in order to extract it? It's the same answer. It's really, really cheap and fast to process whey protein by denaturing it. So usually when you're dealing with a discount whey protein, it's protein that has been extracted either by heat or chemicals, and that's why you're seeing it denatured. It's also why you're seeing your body maybe not feel so good with it. If you're not concerned about just not feeling that good and not being able to digest it that way, know this, that because it is so difficult to digest, when dealing with a denatured whey, with a cheap whey protein, your body will only use 20 or 30% of that protein, and the rest is just an expensive trip to the bathroom. You cannot break it down. You cannot use those amino acids. So when you're looking at the difference between a high quality protein, which may cost a little bit more, and a cheap whey protein that's denatured, if you actually break down the cost per usable gram of protein, the high quality proteins, even though they're a little more expensive at market, are cheaper for you per gram of protein because you can use 100% of the protein that is in there. The 20 grams of protein that are in the Wallace MRP shake are 100% usable. It's entirely cold processed, non-denatured whey. All of that will be usable. If you go buy some junky stuff at 20 grams and know you're getting 20 to 30%, you're getting, what is that, 4 to 6 grams of protein out of that, and the rest is just an expensive trip to the bathroom. So it's a false savings and not a trap that you want to fall into. Next on our list are caseinates. I'm going to show you one of the most popular proteins in America that is almost exclusively caseinates here in just a minute as well, so you guys are able to avoid another one. But caseinates are protein compounds that are built up out of the casein protein that's found in milk products. Casein is a protein that is in high concentration in cow's milk, and it is a great big molecule. It is a great big molecule of protein that's built up specifically for building great big cows, right? But you'll know that cows break down foods very, very differently than us. Cows have multiple stomachs. Cows have an entirely different digestive process, and they're able to break down caseins pretty well. Humans have a really, really hard time breaking down casein proteins. So any caseinates are not going to digest very well, and for certain, not very quickly. So the one thing for sure, because we know caseinates digest so slowly, you never ever want to use a caseinate protein after a workout, because your body will not break down that casein protein in time to help you recover from that workout. I said there's kind of one caveat on this, and that is this. If you're a bodybuilder, if you're somebody who's looking to put on a ton of muscle, caseins are exceptional at putting on a ton of muscle. Like I said, they're built to build great big cows, great big muscular structure on cows. So bodybuilders, when they want to get really, really bulky, they actually use caseinates at bedtime, and know that there can be a very slow digestive process over that 8 hours of sleep, so that it'll kind of drip amino acids in to help them build their muscles. So if you're looking to really bulk up, if your goal is to bulk up, caseinates can be good used right at bedtime. But if you don't want to bulk up, caseinates are not your friend, and you want to avoid products with caseinates in them. Next, we have added sugars. We know dietarily one of the biggest problems that we're facing with our diet is that we're just consuming way too much sugar. So when we take a look at our protein shakes, and it's something that we're going to specifically to try to add in some real healthy nutritional insurance into our diet, that is the last place you want to be seeing a bunch of added sugar added in. Even the National Institutes of Health, which usually is far behind on a lot of their recommendations, is recommending that you consume less than 25 grams of refined sugar a day. Some of these protein shakes have almost that much in one protein shake. It's like a candy bar's worth of sugar in a protein shake, and it's entirely unnecessary. This is one place that you should never want to see added sugars. There are some naturally occurring sugars oftentimes that come with shakes, and that's an okay thing. It oftentimes balances out the carbohydrates, and it's just not a big deal. But when you're starting to see lots of forms of added refined sugar within a shake, you do not want those in your shake. I'm going to show you again another huge protein that is sold, and you may even have at home, that has got a bunch of added sugar in it. Definitely something you want to watch out for and avoid. And our last of our 5 ingredients that you want to make sure you never see in your shake are chemical sweeteners. Things like sucralose, Ace K, which is always in a sucralose product because it supports the sucralose, and aspartame. You want to watch out for those 3 the ingredients in your list of your product. I think we all know why those chemical sweeteners are so bad. Aspartame is the single most complained about food additive to the FDA in history. There are actually documentaries made on what a complete sham it was that product was ever even approved for human ingestion. It's not something that you want to be eating. It's a poison. It's bad news in your body. Definitely don't want it in your healthy products, in your protein products. So watch out for aspartame. Sucralose is a newer entry into the market, but not a lot of people really know what it is. You know, they get out and they pitch it and they say, oh, it tastes like sugar because it's made from sugar, and they make it sound like it's natural. But what it actually is it's chlorinated sugar, which is just absolutely horrible for your body. So 2 things happen. The first thing being your body will actually metabolize and be able to break that chlorine off of about 25% of that sucralose. So while we think we're not getting any sugar, about 25% of whatever sucralose you consume, your body will break apart, will get all of that sugar. That sugar can impact your insulin, your blood levels, your just basic calorie base, whatever it is, you are actually going to get sort of the negative effects of that sugar. But that the 25% of the chlorine that gets broken off as well comes in. It helps to damage your thyroid function. It does a lot of really nasty things in your body. So we definitely want to avoid sucralose. I want to take a minute and show you, and this is, Ashlyn, if you would, can we actually just show my computer screen? Do you guys want to come see this while we look at it? You might just have to gather around, sorry. We're going to take a look at a couple of these products right here. Just on my computer screen. I've zoomed in on the ingredient panels on these. Ashley, let me take this phone for a minute from you. So I'm going to show you guys, as we take a look at these ingredient lists, it's so easy to start to break out a lot of the crap that's found in these products. So like I said, this is one of the huge products that's sold all over the United States, like millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars this stuff is sold, but it's complete garbage if we take a look at the ingredients. So you can see, we know we're watching out for soys. As we watch the ingredients, any ingredient that shows up at the start of your ingredient list is the one that is most commonly in the product, that the highest concentration is in the product. So you can see soy protein is number 1 right there. Next we see fructose, which is an added refined sugar. After that, cellulose powder, which is basically sawdust. So ingredients 1, 2, 3 on this shake are soy protein, sugar, and sawdust. Like, not awesome. We roll through some artificial flavors. You can see here we have calcium caseinate that's in there. There's casein protein that's in there. Soy lecithin that's in there. Let's see what else we can find as we move down. We have, trying to get to some of the sweeteners. Oh. Okay. So that might be our list of really nasties here, but it's plenty on this one. Let me jump in and show you this next one. This is another one that is super, super common. A lot of people use this after their workout, but like I said, after your workout, you definitely do not want to be taking in caseinates because they digest so slowly. Look at the protein on this. Water, milk protein isolate, calcium caseinate, and sodium caseinate is the protein buildup. It shows 25 grams of protein on this, which a lot of people might think is actually like a really great amount of protein, but it's protein that is going to be ridiculously difficult for your body to use, especially after exercise. And I see people at the gym all the time with this protein in their bag as their recovery protein, and it is a horrible choice. They're definitely not getting the benefit of this in time to recover from the workout. And as we look in here at some of these artificial sweeteners, you can see the Ace K, which is the acesulfame potassium right there, and then sucralose always shows up when we see Ace K in a product. Okay, can you get back to you? So hopefully this information's been helpful for you guys today. We definitely want you to take a look for proteins that are built with high quality, great ingredients, that are built with grass-fed whey that is completely cold processed and non-denatured so your body can digest it, that don't have a lot of added refined sugars in it, that don't have sawdust in it for heck's sake, like that first one that we looked at, that are not using these chemical sweeteners that can be damaging to your body. Just care enough to look at the ingredients. There's so much marketing spin out there. People will tell you stuff is great, but those ingredient panels, as long as they're not flat out lying about what's in the product, which is becoming more and more difficult to do, although it has happened in the past, but as long as they're not flat out lying about what is in that product, those ingredient panels will tell you the truth. And if you see soy, if you see some of this denatured low quality whey, if you see caseinates, if you see added sugars, if you see these artificial chemical sweeteners, walk away and find a better option, because those products are not going to be good for your health. They're not going to get you the goals that you need. Thank you so much for joining us today. As always, if there's anything additional we can do to help, we have an incredible sales education team that is here, ready to answer questions for you any way you guys want to reach out. You can reach out on Messenger, by the phone. You can reach out on the chat through our website. We would love to answer a question. If you need us to take a look at a protein that you have at home, you can send us over a photo of that ingredient label. We can help you read that and decode that and let you know if there are any of these like no-go 5 telltale sign ingredients that your protein is garbage. Thank you.